Throughout this week, Donald Trump has been missing in action. He remains in the Presidential Witness Protection Program. House Republicans are on vacation all across the country and the world, and Senate Republicans continue to vote on the same partisan Republican spending bill that's dead on arrival because it guts the health care of the American people. Well, Donald Trump and Republicans have shut the government down as part of their ongoing effort to inflict pain and suffering on the American people. This is day 3 of the Trump shutdown, but it's day 257 of the chaos that Donald Trump and his administration and Republicans have been inflicting on the American people, including mass firings that they've already done outside of a government shutdown. This is who they are. Cruelty is the point.
Exhausted Palestinians in Gaza clung to hope on Saturday that US President Donald Trump would keep up pressure on Israel to end a 2-year war. They greeted with relief Hamas's declaration that it was ready to hand over hostages and accept some terms of Trump's plan to end the conflict. Islamic Jihad, a hardline ally of Hamas that also holds hostages, endorsed that response, which could help pave the way for the release of Israelis still held by both Palestinian militant groups. The war has killed tens of thousands of Gazans and displaced the entire population of more than 2 million. A UN Commission of Inquiry and numerous human rights experts have concluded that Israel has committed genocide in Gaza, which Israel strongly denies. Gazans like Adel al-Housh have watched one ceasefire effort after another fail.
This news that we heard is good. We've been waiting for a long time for this news, because as you see, the country has become chaos and there's no security. There's horror, fear and hunger, and enough of displacing people from their homes to the streets.
Trump's plan set out ending the war, Israel's staged withdrawal, and the release of Israeli hostages and Palestinian captives.
This is a big day. We'll see how it all turns out.
Trump called for a halt to Israel's bombing, putting the onus on Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's government. But smoke still rose over Gaza on Saturday as Israeli airstrikes persisted, though with less intensity, and killed several people. The Israeli military issued a warning to residents that Gaza City remained a dangerous combat zone. Several issues remain unresolved, including whether Hamas will agree to disarm, one of Israel's top demands. Syria held a vote on Sunday for its first post-Assad parliament, a milestone in the country's transition. But instead of a popular vote, members of an electoral college voted for 2/3 of lawmakers, while President Ahmed al-Sharaa was to appoint the others. It's a major test of inclusivity under Sharaa, who came to power after his rebel offensive toppled Bashar al-Assad's regime in December. He's trying to consolidate his hold over a nation fractured by a 14-year war and bouts of sectarian violence that fueled distrust of him among minorities. In Damascus, where there have been no election posters or billboards, Sanaa al-Ali feared nothing would change. "I have no hope for anything," she says. "I don't feel anything new will happen to move us forward so that the coming days will be better than the past." A committee appointed by Sharaa, a former al-Qaeda fighter, approved 1,570 candidates who showcased their platforms in seminars and debates in the previous days. 6,000 electors cast ballots at regional electoral colleges. Authorities say they resorted to this rather than universal suffrage due to a lack of reliable population data, and following the displacement of millions of Syrians by the war. They postponed the vote in 3 provinces held by minority groups, leaving 19 seats in parliament empty. Critics, especially from Syria's minorities, slammed the vote as unrepresentative and too centrally managed. Hussam Nasreddin, a Syrian Druze in Jaramana outside Damascus, said the People's Assembly should be voted for by the people, for the people. This is more like an appointment, he said.
park in Chicago on 39th and Kedzie was a shooting earlier, an ICE-involved shooting. We want to demand an investigation. They are escalating violence. They are escalating violence in the city. This is not making anyone safer. These raids, you saw that the raids that just did a few days ago, they were innocent people.
We want to sail with you together to Gaza to break the siege. The 1,000 Madeleines and the Freedom Flotilla Coalition Conscience vessel sailing together to break the siege. Free, free Palestine.
The Church of England on Friday named Sarah Mullally as the next Archbishop of Canterbury, choosing a woman to lead for the first time in the institution's 1,400-year history. In an interview with Reuters on Friday, Mullally was asked about same-sex marriage.
Church of England and the Anglican Communion have a long history of having to wrestle with difficult issues. This is nothing new.
And said she wanted there to be discussion and dialogue within the Church.
And I recognise the anxiety and the concern that is caused when difficult issues are discussed and spoken about.
She will become the ceremonial head of some 85 million Anglicans worldwide, who are increasingly divided between liberal branches in Western Europe and conservatives primarily based in Africa. She has previously championed several liberal causes within the Church, including allowing blessings for same-sex couples in civil partnerships and marriages. But such stances put her in conflict with Anglicans in nations such as Uganda, where homosexuality is outlawed. A global grouping of conservative Anglican churches said the appointment showed that the English arm of the Church had, quote, relinquished its authority to lead. The Church of England has been without a leader for nearly a year since Justin Welby resigned over a child abuse cover-up scandal. Mullally addressed this topic in a message delivered Friday morning.
As Archbishop, my commitment will be to ensure that we continue to listen to survivors.
Her Friday address also focused on what police have characterized as a terrorist attack on a Manchester synagogue on the holy day of Yom Kippur.
I know that the God who is with us draws near to those who suffer. We then, as a church, have a responsibility to be a people who stand with the Jewish community against anti-Semitism in all its forms.
The 63-year-old Mullally is a former nurse who served as England's chief nursing officer. Church reforms introduced 11 years ago made it possible for a woman to hold the office. In being named the 106th Archbishop of Canterbury, Mullally becomes the leader of one of the last British institutions to have been monopolized by men.
It's really taxing on the shoulders, on the feet too. I felt that on the second floor it was starting to get tough because you can never pedal, in fact. You have the brakes locked all the time. It only affects your calves, your shoulders, and pulling a bike 686 times starts to get tough after a while, but I'm so happy to have done it.
A vaccine against a disease capable of killing young elephants within 24 hours of symptoms is ready for wider use following successful trials, scientists say. Elephant endotheliotropic herpes virus, or EEHV, is endemic in elephants and can cause fatal hemorrhagic disease. Fatal cases have been reported in India, Nepal, Myanmar, and Thailand, as well as in conservation breeding programs, according to Chester Zoo, the University of Surrey, and the Animal and Plant Health Agency. The groups announced on Friday a proof-of-concept trial found the vaccine against EEHV was safe and triggered strong immune responses. Katie Edwards is lead conservation scientist at Chester Zoo and co-author of the study.
We're basically at that stage now where we've got the scientific data that really supports our approach and shows the strength of the immune response that this vaccine can generate. So we're now at the stage where we are looking to use the vaccine in the young elephants that really need it the most.
Because EEHV can't be grown in a lab, scientists use tiny pieces made only when the virus is copying itself inside an elephant cell. The fragments train T cells, the immune system's hunters, to identify and destroy infected cells early. Edwards says initial tests involved adult elephants that had prior exposure to the virus.
In adult elephants, it doesn't tend to cause many problems. It's something that once they've become infected with, they can kind of almost keep that infection under control themselves. The challenge comes when we have young elephants that have got an immune system that doesn't know how to recognize that virus yet.
The group behind the vaccine said it was designed for use in zoos and sanctuaries, and that work is underway on delivery options suitable for range countries. The researchers said the next phase will prioritize vaccinating calves most at risk and navigating legal and logistical steps to supply doses more widely.